Okay, good afternoon in America, I guess, and good evening here in Sweden. This is episode 3 with Tim and Barry, Social News Network TV. How are you, Barry?
Absolutely. Good. How's it going?
It's fine. I have done some TV Tim Sweden episodes today, and I have many subscribers and viewers that are anticipating our show here. So it's a good thing that we can make episode 3 today, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to try to maybe set a goal for at least 2 to 3 episodes a week. I think that would be good because it does seem like there's a lot of anticipation by everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. I was thinking of doing a thing here, and but before that, I want to talk to everybody about our intros and logos and what we're going to do with our channel.
Yep.
Yeah, so I got some help from my Swedish subscribers today with some intros and some logos and a little slides. So I want to say thank you to you guys. You know who you are. And we'll work on that again tomorrow. I really appreciate it. And as you just saw, we made a little slide here of some news TV channels, some interesting topics, testing out a little song there and a little melody to it. I mean, to our slide. And that's what we have to do. We have to build a channel, right, Barry?
Yeah, you got to build it little bit by bit.
Yeah. And I want to say thank you to all my Swedish subscribers. We're already up to 250 subscribers in just 2 episodes. This is the 3rd. And like everybody, my goal is to take me and Barry up to 1,000 to start with. So please subscribe and push that notification bell and share our episodes with everybody who could be interested in both America, Sweden, and, as I always say, the world.
Yep. Absolutely.
So so today I thought we were going to talk about some things that some of my Swedish viewers have asked me about. And that is, why do they call it an insurrection, January 6th, the committee there with Nancy Pelosi and those guys? When I look it up, an insurrection means that you with guns and weapons go in and try to take over the government illegally. This, to me, when you look at the tweets and so on, it doesn't sound like Trump was asking for his crowd or his followers to do something illegal, or am I wrong?
No, you're right. An insurrection is the worst possible word that they can use to describe what happened on January 6th, because a lot of times when they say insurrection, they think of a coup or an overthrow of the government. So that's why they're trying to paint a really horrible picture. And by using insurrection, it's just the media. The mainstream media wants to do it that way, but it's not. That's not what happened at all. And it's, to go back a little off of the insurrection, this whole investigation now is going to start to go public. They're going to have public trials, I guess, or public interviews of people. And I know Ivanka Trump just was interviewed yesterday, the daughter, and of course they're like, oh well, she didn't really say too much, like what do you expect her to say? And they weren't happy with it, so now they're going to start going public with all these new people that they're going to interview. But the one thing that has to take place is because who is in charge of security for the Capitol?
Wasn't that Nancy Pelosi?
That's right. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, is always responsible for the Capitol's protection, security, and she speaks with I don't know if she was speaking with the mayor of Washington D.C., but when Trump said, "Hey," this was weeks before January 6th, when he requested National Guard, they both turned it down. Now, why?
I know why. It was 10,000 military police or something that he requested it, and he said, as many as you want, Nancy, but I say up to 10,000. It's in the emails. It will all come out. Therefore, I don't understand how Nancy can be so bold, because everyone can see, as we will talk about later here, the tweets also that Elon Musk now is affecting, I think, positively for Trump. But I mean, the reason that Nancy Pelosi did not send those military guards, or whatever you call them, is because she wanted this to happen.
Right. She wanted the riots to get out of control so she could blame Trump and prosecute Trump. She cannot stand Donald Trump. She hates him with a passion. And by doing this, why hasn't the January 6th committee subpoenaed Nancy Pelosi's emails?
Because Trump was right, I think,
That's
when he
right.
said that he can't trust his own, he couldn't trust his own DOJ, Department of Justice. He couldn't trust the top of FBI and CIA. That's why in this intro slide I did today, you can see there like the blame game, even with Obama before he moved out to the White House, Comey there and Peter Strzok, they're all fake news. They're all lying. And I have seen evidence that I believe is true evidence that there were some ex-FBI people.
Oh, absolutely.
Some other people who opened the doors to the Capitolium, and they were sort of Antifa people with Trump clothes, and they did everything they could to make him look bad.
Oh, without a doubt, there was FBI informants in that crowd, edging them on, egging on the crowd, pushing them to storm the Capitol. There's proof of that, and yet they're not interviewed by the January 6th committee.
And the people that they have jailed who did sort of, we could call it like a minor burglary or a trespassing. That gives like a couple of weeks and a fine. Now they have been in jail for a long, long time on, as I say, water and bread.
They haven't. They've been there and in jail since January 6th, and they haven't even been charged.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's over a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have not been charged, and it's so sad.
That should be illegal. They didn't do anything. And Nancy Pelosi, in my view, she's a criminal.
Yeah, I agree.
And Jerry Nadler and Shifty Schiff, they're not far behind. They're crazy.
No, the only way this is really going to come out, the truth will come out, is if the Republicans win the House and the Senate.
And what's the percent of chance you think they'll do that?
70 to 80%.
You're negative. I think it's 90. No, I'm not sure.
I would love to. They have to, because they don't. You have to have subpoena power, and if you don't, it goes nowhere.
I mean, if you see, like now that Hillary Clinton got fined, the DNC got fined. They're all lying about Russia, Ukraine. It's all a hoax. It's all fake. So when you see that Trump was right and that he did not lie about these things, at least, time after time, you see that the FBI and the DOJ and Peter Strzok and all of these people there, they lied, and the Mueller report, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that was a joke.
How can the Democrat Party, if I may ask you, Barry, how can they be so powerful so they can lie this long? And why don't they get caught? Why don't they go to jail? What's going on?
Because the Democratic Party and the swamp and the mainstream media are all working together. So they are not pressured by the media if they say something wrong, or they can start a rumor. And then, like I think I saw on Tucker Carlson last night that some liberal reporter from the New York Times just made a complete lie about Tucker Carlson. And then all these other media outlets caught on to it. And then they repeated it over and over and over. And it was a vicious cycle for like 4 or 5, including CNN and MSNBC and all that crap. But they all repeated the lie. And then Tucker Carlson came out last night and says, no, that never happened. He just completely made up a story. And that's what happens. That's what happens in Washington, because you have all these intelligence agencies, the FBI, CIA, all that. I went over this before. They are all government employees. So therefore, they get a paycheck from the government. So they're going to protect the government, and they're going to protect, they're part of the swamp, and they're going to protect the swamp any way possible. And that it also falls in line with the Democratic Party. So that's why they never get in trouble.
But that has to change. And I think that Trump was really close to do things, and that's why they couldn't accept that he stayed in the White House. I saw Rudy Giuliani's show yesterday, his Common Sense, Rudy's Common Sense.
Okay.
And he explained there about the election situation, as we can call it on this channel. We can't use the FRAUD word here. But anyway, the situation that occurred there are more and more evidence coming out week by week, month by month, that Mike Lindell and everybody is right. And you can count votes, and you know about those, as I say, amendment machines, I say another word. Yeah. And also the ballots, the trucks from New York to Pennsylvania the next day, and so on. People are telling me, oh, that's not how it was. It was a fair election and so on. But listen, Trump got 63 million votes 2016. He won all the states he needed to win, like Texas, Florida, and so on. And he got, what was it, 13 votes more, 75 million?
Yes, I think he got 80 million.
No, Biden got 80.
Oh, okay.
And that's what he said yesterday, Rudy Giuliani, that how could that sleepy guy in his basement get 80 million votes? It was an out campaign.
It was impossible. It was a mail-in ballots.
And therefore, they need to know what they're doing now, even with the midterms.
Yep.
So nothing happens there. Well, I think at this point, it could be good for Europe and Russia and even Ukraine if Trump wins again, because the way America is handling the Russia situation now is terrible, because they are not counting in anything regarding what Ukraine and Russia has been about for the past 30 years. There's a lot of corruption. There is a lot of trafficking. There's a lot of drug dealing. There's a big Nazi problem in Ukraine. And now they're putting this Zelensky guy on a pedestal, but he is no Mr. Nice Guy, I can tell you that.
I know there's a lot more to it that we don't hear in our media. Yeah, exactly. And you would know more because you have access to that European news where we don't really have access to stuff like that.
That's the thing that we should focus on later on this channel, that I can actually tell our future coming American viewers about things that are happening here on base, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland, even my friends in Lithuania and so on. You know, because when you have people on the ground, you get better live information, more true information than from the mainstream media.
Right.
And that's why my Swedish viewers wants to hear more from you in the future, because you can let us know locally what happens in Charlotte, what happens in North Carolina. And I mean, those are things that you never hear on Swedish news anyway.
Right.
Most Swedish people don't know the difference between the 50 states. They don't know what state is Democrat, Republican, what is the difference about that, and so on. So we have a lot to talk about.
Do you get Fox News over in Sweden?
Listen, everybody who wants Fox News can watch it in various ways. We have these boxes that you pay sort of illegally for, instead of paying to Comcast and so on, or Comhem as it's called here. You can have a sort of illegal box and you have all of the channels in the world. That's one way to have Fox. You can also have it on the internet, of course. You can subscribe on the internet. You can have a VPN. But on our regular channels where we get international news, we only have Sky News, CNN, and BBC. And I wonder why. We don't have Newsmax. What's good with Newsmax is that
I love Newsmax.
Yeah, they are free on the internet, and they're also on YouTube. And for some reason, they never get suspended by YouTube. But I have a feeling that they have so many viewers. I think they're like 70 million viewers in America. So they're too big to censor for YouTube. Yeah,
I love them. I see them. I watch them on YouTube all the time.
You know, all of my Swedish friends that are working with news, like in Swedish newspapers, oh, you can't watch Fox and Newsmax. Those are right-wing, crazy, illegal channels. You have to watch CNN. And I'm like,
well, that's what I was wondering. I wanted to ask you about. Where do you get your American news from? So Swedes rely on CNN.
Basically, all of Europe except Hungary. I can tell you a story about Hungary if I remember it. All of our Swedish newspapers and our Swedish state television, it's just, they even say it in Sweden, according to CNN. Everything that is about the war now in America, everything is according to CNN. That's all the Swedish people get. And it even says in the articles in our, you remember, Barry, when we sold Expressen and Aftonbladet in Florida, all of those Swedish, everything it's about Trump or something, it says according to CNN. It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. We don't do bleep in Sweden when we say duck, so I said it anyway.
So
But
what they have, actually, what's pretty good is Sky News Australia.
they're really good. We have that if we sort of
'Cause they-
pay for extra channels, so to say. Sorry.
Yeah, because that's not like Sky News and BBC. It's Australia, and they seem to be a more conservative news outlet.
Scott Morrison, the prime minister, is a goddamn pig. Sorry, but I had to say it. He's a very, very dangerous man. Just like Trudeau in Canada and
Yep.
Macron in France. They were all for the washer fluid and the washer fluid passports, and you know what I mean, and all that stuff. And they want people to stay inside and mask up and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But Sky News Australia are not for their government. They're for free speech,
Right.
and they're for Trump in the way that they say,
Yeah.
we don't necessarily like Trump, everything he says, but we don't want to lie about him. Because that's what they do in America. They just
Yeah.
lie about him because
They
they
just
know
make up lies.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then all the other outlets, it's like a revolving circle here. They just keep going and going and going.
exactly. So I wanted to continue a little bit here about Elon Musk, and not just about him and not just about Twitter, but things that happens around it. So what is the latest that you have heard about that story in America?
Elon, I think he bought like 9.2% of Twitter. So he's the largest shareholder.
Mhm.
And because of that, they had to appoint him on the board of directors, which is freaking the liberal media, freaking them out, because they know how stifling Twitter was to Republicans during the campaign. And they're going to do the same thing for the midterms. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, they're banning Tucker Carlson, they banned Dan Bongino, they banned all these conservatives. And now Elon Musk comes in and he's sort of a Trump supporter, you know, and he's just like, you know, I'm going to change Twitter. I'm going to make it so they cannot just throw people off
Yeah.
just because they don't like their politics. So he's going to change a lot of stuff over there.
That's what I showed how now in this slide I did here. If everybody couldn't see it, because you know you can see it's coming in the end. I do that with my slides. I put them in the beginning of an episode and in the end in case you missed something.
So yeah, it's funny. They say I guess I forget the CEO's name of Twitter, but the
It's
owner,
Pucky.
yeah, whatever.
I
Something
call
like
him
that.
the Pucky.
Well, so they're saying like the who's it, Jack Dorsey?
He was the one before.
Yeah. Well, he's no longer there, or he's no longer the CEO, but the CEO now has a new CEO on as the new boss, and that's Elon Musk. So that's going to be good.
You know that Pucky Prack, I call him. I think it's a Pucky. He even said, which I had in my TV Team Sweden slide yesterday. He even said like this: Twitter is not interested in following the First Amendment.
Yeah.
We are interested in showing news that we want our viewers to see.
Right. So therefore, we are a private company. So therefore, we are not bound to the First Amendment.
Yeah, but when you say that, you admit that you block information.
Yeah.
And
they admit it. And that's why I think Elon Musk is going to step in and say, no, this is not how it's going to work.
And I think it's interesting when you watch those pictures that I put in there about Elon Musk and Twitter. First of all, you can see that Trump's tweets were before the so-called insurrection on January 6th even started, and where he stated, you know, peaceful protest, we're going to show the Democrats how you do that. That's one thing. And the second thing is when Elon Musk says, I endorse Trump, I want him to be back on Twitter.
Right.
Because I think that he understands that he had close to 90 million followers, Trump.
What's the story? I don't know if Donald Trump should go back on Twitter. What's the deal with his own social media platform?
I don't think that Trump necessarily wants to go back to Twitter.
No.
But he wants to win and have it settled, so he can if he wants to. Because the situation with Truth Social is this: they have technical problems because too many have applied to be a part of it. I think it's like close to 1 billion people who signed up. So therefore, they're going to start with America and then release Europe and so on. And as far as I understand it, that's what happened with free speech back at Frank's speech, Mike Lindell's site.
Okay.
That's a good site, but it didn't work as a platform to upload things. Remember this, when Trump is starting Truth Social, you can take that Nancy Pelosi hate on him and add and multiply that with 1,000 other people and Facebook, and before this, then Twitter and so on. Everybody is trying to hack and distort his technical platform.
Oh, really?
So I think he really needs to do it slowly and build it as a part of his whole organization. They have put in billions of dollars behind it. I know that for a fact because I talked to my friends down at close to Mar-a-Lago, and there's no problematic with it. But every Trump supporter on Twitter, the 80-90 million, even if he puts out a couple of tweets here and there, that will send messages to a lot of people on Twitter that is not following him on Truth Social. So it could be valuable to be on more than his own platform.
Okay.
That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know. I did not know what was happening with his own platform, Truth Social.
Yeah, I want to inform everybody. I know you mentioned it to me before, but go in, everybody, and check out donaldjtrump.com. Just donaldjtrump.com. He has a newsletter every day. He's had that since he was banned from Twitter. There's news and facts and about. He has another rally now coming up on Saturday the 9th. So all of the information about Trump and what the GOP is doing and about Truth Social is on donaldjtrump.com. So follow that site if you're interested.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did not know that.
Even a Swede can know more than an American.
Well, depends on how much time you have during the day to do your research.
That's what I told everybody. You're new on this, but I know your interests, and I know that you are also very knowledgeable when it comes to America in many different ways. And we're not just going to talk about Trump here.
No,
we're going to talk about America and there's so many things about the country that Swedish people, for instance, like Americans about Sweden, they only know it as a tourist thing.
Right. Okay.
Or in our case, the critics knows America as, they had this war in Vietnam, and also about the KKK maybe, and we know a lot of negative things. Oh, they invaded Iraq and Syria, and America wants to be the world police and so on, or has been the world police and so on. But I'm trying to focus on things that are non-political. When I tell people what I like about America, it could be simple things like Florida, then it's the beaches, it's music, it's the food. In New York, it's bars and clubs. Then you have the countryside, fishing, hiking, skiing in Aspen. There's so many things that you can love about America. But if you don't know about the country except politics, then it's the same with Sweden. We have sick politics here. Our government is completely whack.
Is it? Well, that's why I was wondering just where you get your global information from. Like, just how much do you know what's going on? Do Swedish people know what's going on in America on a daily basis?
No, basically, everybody I talk to in Sweden and have talked to since Trump won, they only comment in one way. Oh, he's crazy, he's dangerous. Oh, you can't love Trump. He's this and that. Where did you hear that? I read it in the newspaper yesterday. And that newspaper says, according to CNN.
According to the CNN.
Yeah. So that's all they know. And I have people here, some of my viewers, Trump is a part of the swamp. Are you kidding me? He was a businessman. He is a businessman. He has done some shitty things, but he's a completely different animal than a lifelong politician like Biden and Chuck Schumer, all of those people. And they have to realize how much he loves America, because I've seen all these interviews with Oprah and Letterman from the 80s and 90s. And if you listen to Trump's speech on June 15th, 2015, when he started to run for president, it's the exact same words he have said for 30 years before that.
Yeah.
So I think that what I want to do on this channel is to inform Americans more about Sweden, and I want to let Swedish viewers and American viewers know more about America, both ways, so to say.
Yeah. Yeah. About
Absolutely.
the Scandinavian countries over there. Just what exactly do you know about America and American politicians and how our country's run?
Most people don't know, and there are a few, of course. There are some good channels here. It's called SwebTube here. It's like our own YouTube.
Yep.
And there are some really good channels and some really good people who understands America, and they also understand everything that was FAKE about the washer fluid.
Sure.
And the pandemic and the masking and so on. But the regular news in Sweden and all over Europe is so I call it the NATO EU news.
Yeah, they
NATO
were saying
EU news is also according to CNN.
Yeah, they were saying last night on the news that they want everybody to get a second booster shot. So 4 shots if you're 65 and older.
Yeah, same here.
And then they came out and said, oh, the pharmaceutical companies said you might need another booster shot come September and October. And I'm just like, what a farce.
I mean, it's so ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I have followed 2 American doctors and 2 English doctors on YouTube for like almost 2 years now. One is called Dr. Sanil Dan. He's an Indian from England living in Connecticut. And there is another British guy in America. And they have followed the development of the virus, the so-called variants.
Yeah,
like the Alpha, Beta, Delta, Omicron, and now it's called Delta Cron, which they instead changed to B2, Omicron B2. And if anybody knows anything about a virus, the first one has 1 spike protein. And when they develop, they get 5 and 10 and 20. Now it's up to 60 spike protein. These mRNA vaccines are only construed for 1 spike protein. That's why now this fall here, I mean, where are we? Spring. Yeah, this fall and winter, all you heard on the news was that everybody who got the 3rd shot, everybody is sick, everybody is infected by the virus, by the coronavirus. But they said they didn't get as sick and they didn't die, which they would have. But I never took the shot. A lot of my friends never took the shot, and they didn't get sick. And if they got sick, they got well like a flu.
Yeah.
So the people that died and were really sick and had lung problems, all of these doctors, hundreds of them, are stating that 99.something% was older people with very bad lungs and lung cancer and all kinds of other diseases. And anybody young or anybody like mid-aged or whatever, 40, 50, that died from this would have also died from a regular flu virus.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably. So, but I mean, locking down and whacking companies and money and having small children with masks. And now they say in Sweden, these are the numbers here, Barry. 83% of everybody over 80 have taken the 4th shot here. In Israel, they're on the 5th now. Everybody over 65 is offered the 4th now here. Everybody over 12 in Sweden, it's up to 80% have taken 2 shots in Sweden. Mm-hmm. So if you look at these numbers, the percentages, it's the same in every country. Like Europe, not Indian and so on, but America, Canada, Europe, Australia, we're pumped up, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in everybody's system already.
And there's absolutely no reason. I compare it to take, let's say that you get a little cut like this and you put on a Band-Aid. You did it once, right? You took a flu shot you did it once. So the next day, when it's not bleeding anymore, you're going to put on Band-Aid 2 and 3 and 4 for a week.
Yeah.
No, you take it off and you're well. You're fine. What are they doing here? It's crazy. Power, money. And I heard that Tony Fauci is getting sacked soon, and he's going to retire before he gets sacked. But
good.
He's already talking about now that it was a big mistake not to count in natural immunity. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they should have counted that in a long time ago.
Hey, in your intro, you had that, not to, well, just to change the subject a little bit, in your intro, you have a photo of the swimmer.
Yeah.
Now, did you hear over in Sweden that Kylie Jenner, also known as Bruce Jenner, has joined Fox News?
I heard from Tucker or Hannity weeks ago that might happen. Did it happen? Really?
Yep, it happened. So he's going to be a Fox News contributor, Caitlyn Jenner. And I think it's a great PR move for Fox, because this whole woke generation and this LGBTQ group is just dominating the news now. And Caitlyn Jenner is a Republican, and he's going to come on Fox News and he's going to say there's no way in heck that men should be competing in women's sports. And he's like, enough is enough. And this is just do you know who our assistant secretary? I wrote it down.
Which one was it I added on the intro today?
Yeah, her, whatever her name is.
Yeah, him, her, whatever it is. I was going to say it, right? Yeah, so that's not the swimmer.
No, that is the swimmer.
Okay.
Well,
I thought that wasn't the same person, because
Leah Thomas.
Yeah, but that's not the same person as you're talking about for Fox.
No, the Caitlyn Jenner is Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's not the swimmer.
No,
that's what I was.
Don't you know who Bruce Jenner is?
Yeah, but I wanted to make it clear, because
okay.
I mean that when CNN is putting out, that LB, I call it like there is this guy, this black guy.
Her or his name is Leah Thomas.
Yeah.
That's the swimmer.
That's the swimmer. Yeah.
That's who you had on your intro.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the other one,
Caitlyn Jenner is Bruce Jenner, the greatest athlete in the world. At one point back in the Olympics, he's coming on to counter, to Fox News to counter everything that's going on with the mainstream media. Now, did you hear, this is funny, Rachel Levine? Do you know who she is?
I remember the name.
Rachel Levine is the assistant health secretary appointed by Joe Biden here in America.
Okay.
She just won 1 out of 12 persons of the year, women persons of the year. She was named by USA Today. And she's a guy.
I know.
She's a transgender.
Yeah, it's so sick.
And so she got Woman of the Year. She was named Woman of the Year by USA Today. And and you look at her, and he's like, that's a guy though. She's a transgender.
To me, it's disgusting. I mean, I can go as far as saying that you, Barry, or me could feel like something. You can feel like I should have been a girl, or I should have been a woman or something. But like somebody said as a joke, first of all, if we don't cut it off, I don't believe you.
No.
Then it's like a stunt, or you need a tablet or a pill, or you need help psychologically or whatever. If you can be a man swimming with women and be proud to win, that's a disease in itself.
There's something's wrong.
Something wrong in the head, because and then CNN, of course, is bad mouthing Ron DeSantis. That's why I put that picture in there.
Yep.
CNN is bad mouthing Ron DeSantis, the best governor in Florida's history, in American history, maybe. And he's doing this bill now, according to what you just said regarding Fox News, that men is men, women is women. It's okay if you're a trans person, you say that, well, we're not going to jail you. It's legal, but you can't goddamn swim and compete against
women. Do whatever you want. And then it's like the definition of a woman. Well, let's see. I said to some of my friends here, if you go and you take a shower and you got something hanging down between your legs, you're a guy. you're a male. If you go and take a shower and there's nothing hanging between your legs, then you're a woman.
Yeah.
That works.
I mean, that's it.
It's not rocket science.
And what was that soon to be maybe
Justice of the Supreme Court?
Yeah, she couldn't say what a woman was.
She refused to say.
There is this guy in California. His name is Richo Green. He he rose from 1,000 subscribers to I think he has like 300,000 now. And he's black. I think he's married to a white woman, but he's like black here, but he's white here, and or whatever. Like he says, he's colorblind. But he's always saying like this. This is so sick in schools. They're teaching children and you know, even young people that you can be anything you want and blah blah blah. And he calls them something like the LBGTABC soup group because he thinks they're completely whacked. And if you think about it,
Well, how would you like to have a kid now going to public schools here in America, in elementary school, kindergarten, and they're teaching your son that he should be ashamed that he's white. He doesn't have to be a male if he doesn't want to. He can dress like a woman. He can dress like a girl if he wants. I mean, I'd be in jail.
they do that in Sweden too.
I would be in jail for them trying to teach my kids that to think that way.
Yeah, it's really, really sick. You know, the Rubin report, Dave Rubin, he's gay. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's Dave Rubin, his husband is David Rubin. But anyway, he is not, you can't see on him that he's gay.
I didn't. You told me that today. I didn't know that.
He only talks about it when he gets pushed by CNN or something. And because of this bill that you can see there in the end of my slide with CNN and that swimmer thing, the it there, they accused Ron DeSantis of this bill that he was a bigot against gay people and trans people and whatever it's called. But then he said, I'm Dave Rubin. I have the Rubin report. I've had it for years. I just moved to Florida. I'm friends with Ron DeSantis. He invites me to dinner. Here are some pictures of him and me. He's hugging me and my husband, and he's very polite and so on. And he understands that, yes, you can be gay. But that doesn't mean that I, Dave Rubin, have to sit here on my show and say that every episode. I'm gay, I'm gay. Like you and me should say, well, by the way, we're hetero. Why does that, why is it necessary to talk? And then he said like this, gays got their freedom. They got their rights. They even got rights to marry and adopt children. What more do they need? Why do we need to take another step and another step so they come above heterosexuals? And now the trans people wants to get more and more and more. Soon we are a minority and not
because it's about power and money. Because the more powerful they get, the more they get legislation in their favor. And then it's all about politics, and then it's about money. It's crazy.
That's why I say sometimes, and in America, more people are so to say, either just Christians or devoted Christians going to church. That's more common in America than in Sweden. But everybody knows about the word. If you say God and Jesus and the Bible and the church, everybody knows what it means, because we compare that to the Green Book and, you know, Islam and Muslims and so on. But I mean, when you read the Bible and you listen to Jesus 2,000 years ago, I tell this to people all the time. It's very, very interesting that he answers the questions of his disciples that, remember, Satan, the devil, is ruling this world and it will get worse. God is not ruling it because you chose to be run by humans, by political systems. That's why it will be worse and worse. Because when I see this, with this trans thing and the, what do you call it? CRT, critical race theory, and how the Democrats, I have a hard time believing that humans can be this nasty and this ugly as they are in wars and so on. It's, for me, it's you know, equal to Satan has to rule this world, because how sick can it be? It's just the thing I say when I want to, and then a Christian would say, yeah, Tim, you're right. And then a secular would say, well, it doesn't have to be like that. I don't say it is like that. I say that's
it what it sounds like you're venting.
yeah. And I could, you know, once in a while, because I hear more sound things from the Bible than from our news anyway. So it's really, really confusing to me that, like many of the channels that I watch here, and we call us the YouTube family, the Swedish channels, but we work together a little bit. And we all say the same thing about our Social Democrat Party, who is ruining this country here. How long will the Swedish people be blind and vote for the same party who is destroying the country year after year? That's how I see it with Biden. I mean, okay, you didn't like Trump, but his results were amazing.
Yeah.
It's
So, yeah, I got another funny story here. Well, it's not funny. It's pretty sad.
yeah.
You've heard, I guess the Republicans tried to submit a subpoena in the House for Hunter Biden's laptop,
Oh yeah.
and the Democrats voted it down. They don't want any part of it. Now, isn't that kind of weird? They wouldn't want to go after that. They wouldn't want to get any results or anything like that. And then they said on the news, I think it was last night or the night before, that they have Secret Service protecting Hunter Biden out in California.
Yeah.
They're paying $30,000 a month in rent to rent this mansion so they could protect Hunter Biden. $30,000 a month.
But he's in deep
And that's
shit.
taxpayers' money.
Yeah. I mean, he's in deep shit. As soon as the Republicans win back the House, he will go to jail.
Yep.
He's a super
Well,
criminal.
Biden will pardon him.
He's a criminal. He's a pedophile. He has illegal money and tax evasion, whatever you call it. And there is another guy who is in bad shape. That's Jim, right? Joe Biden's brother.
Yeah, his brother.
He funneled the money and did all that stuff too.
Tax evasion, money laundering.
Well, everybody knew that.
Illegal money wiring.
When this guy came out, this guy that worked with Hunter Biden, and he explained the laptop.
Yeah.
And the guy in the store there. I mean,
And they shot him
of course
down.
they don't want to talk about it.
No, and they shot him down.
Ridiculous, yeah.
So anyway.
Well, let us finish this episode by me asking you a question. How is it in North Carolina as a state? How is that state doing today? And is that a Democrat state or Republican state? And how does it look for the midterms?
I think it is a Democratic state. So I think that we have some Republican congressmen in North Carolina, but I think the senators, well, it looks pretty good that they might change. But I think the governor is still going to be Democratic.
But do you feel like if you're in Charlotte, like, do you feel that it's like before the pandemic, or is it still you have to have
it's getting back. It's getting back to normal. Getting back, things are starting to open back up again. So it's getting back to the normal routine of before the pandemic.
Okay.
So and I think Trump's rally is in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, it's in Selma.
Selma, I don't know where that is. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, look it up. It's North Carolina is pretty big. So
yeah, it's
big. In Selma, and he's doing rallies now.
I said that in the other episode. I remember saying that he's going to be very busy this spring and summer.
I just saw something on donaldjtrump.com, and actually it was in a regular newspaper. I think it was Washington Post. I'm not sure. It was something I saw, but this rally was indoors, the last one, last Saturday, and it was 21,000 people outside that couldn't come in. And he had hung big screens outside.
Big screens. That happens all the time.
But how many would come to a Biden rally?
Exactly. Did you see the episode with Obama came to the White House yesterday?
No.
You haven't seen that yet? That's a clip. I'll have to send you the link. They left because, of course, Obama. Everyone's like, "Oh, yay!" All clapping and this, for Obama. It's the anniversary of Obamacare, Affordable Care Act.
When did was that in the news yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can look it up on YouTube. Go to Newsmax, and they showed Biden. Everyone was surrounded Obama, and Biden was just standing there on the podium by himself. Nobody was talking to him. He didn't know where to go. It will be on. I'll find it on YouTube and I'll send it. That's a good clip for us to post.
Absolutely, do that. Okay, so we'll do episode 4 next time, and I'll spread this on through my site and through SwebTube and all the channels that I put up my TV Team Sweden channel on, like Rumble and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell everybody to help us to subscribe and so on, and I'll do that now too. Please subscribe and push that notification bell.
Absolutely. Come on.
And as Richo Green says, because every time you do, a piece of shit liberal cries. He says that every episode. I think it's so funny. Okay, man. Take care.
All
And we'll
right.
talk soon then.
Okay, guys. Peace out.
Bye, everybody. Hey.